This week's episode of The Graveyard Shift is brought to you by The Ultimate Guide to Strange Cinema, the film guide by Michael Vaughn. I'm a big fan of film guides in general, but that has to be the most comprehensive I've ever read. I consider myself a bit of a connoisseur of obscure horror, but this guide had several titles in it that I've never even heard of, and I can't wait to check it out for the show. You can get your copy by searching The Ultimate Guide to Strange Cinema on Amazon, or looking it up at your local bookstore.
Yeah, do it or we'll send a giant flying monster after you.
No, we won't.
We will.
No, Mike, please, don't tell our listeners we'll send monsters after them.
Well, it's too late. I've already started the ritual.
The ritual. To send a flying monster after our listeners.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Plus, only I know where the monster lives, so I'm going to hold the city ransom with it. I'll make millions!
This sounds a lot like the plot of this week's movie.
No, it doesn't.
No? So you didn't use an ancient Incan ritual to revive the monster?
No, it was a schminken ritual.
Schminken. That's what you're going to go with. You're going to use an ancient schminken ritual to revive a monster, to hold the city ransom, and go after our listeners that didn't buy a copy of The Ultimate Guide to Strange Cinema.
It's a very ancient tribe. You've probably never heard of them. Oh, here he comes. He's going to get you.
You made that sound.
No, it was the monster.
The monster. The monster Squintle Stinsel or whatever.
Quetzalcoatl.
Kettle Cola. Just play the intro music. Welcome to episode 84 of The Graveyard Shift, where each week we watch a horror movie suggested by one of our listeners, and we break it down into the good, the bad, and any other category we decide to make up when something doesn't fit in either of those. We'll talk about the plot, some production details, and anything else we find fun or relevant. I'm your host Sheldon, and I never work the Graveyard Shift alone. Please say hello to someone that's worshipped as a god by many ancient civilizations, my co-host Mike.
Hello.
Mike, after the debacle that was Enemy, we actually watched a horror movie this week. Not a great one, but close enough.
Did we though?
Sort of. So, why don't you tell everyone what we have for them this time?
Today's episode is The Sleeping Audience. Because we watched Q, the Winged Serpent.
We sure did, and here's some info on Q. Released on October 29th, 1982, Q is an American horror movie starring two-time Golden Globe winner Michael Moriarty and erotic asphyxiation enthusiast David Carradine. Yes, I know what I said sounds shocking, but yes, Michael Moriarty won 2 Golden Globes. And for Best Actor in a TV Drama. Q has a runtime of 93 minutes, had a budget of $1.1 million, didn't find anything about what kind of box office return it got, I have a feeling it wasn't great, is rated R due to violence, gore, and nudity, all great stuff. Rotten Tomatoes gives this one some scores that are less than stellar, but not the worst we've seen. It has a 67 critic score and a 42% audience score. I gotta say, I am very surprised that the critic score is higher than the audience score for this. This seems exactly like the type of movie where the opposite would be true. Where, you know, the critics bash it, but the audience, like, there's a nice cult following for it.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of surprised there. Now, as for the plot, the NYPD is working on a bizarre case of ritualistic Aztec murders. Meanwhile, something big is attacking people of New York, and only a small-time crook knows what and where it is. So, Mike, I think I already know the answer according to your according to the episode title, but without getting into much detail, what did you think of Q, the Winged Serpent?
I could go without watching it again.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing I've ever watched. I don't regret watching it, but it's one I probably won't revisit. There's nothing that stood out enough to make me want to go give it a second look. So yeah, I think we're pretty much on the same page. All right, so we're going to do like we always do on every episode. We're going to break this down into the good and the bad. I have a feeling this is going to be another one of these where the good list is much shorter than the bad, or at least not as detailed anyway. But the good or the bad could be anything we liked or didn't like, whether it could be something as broad as an overall theme or something as specific as a certain scene, certain line of dialogue, certain character, whatever. If we liked it, we'll talk about it. If we didn't like it, we'll probably talk about it even more. We always start off with the good, and we always start off with the Mike. So, Mike, please tell me something good about Q.
I like that we saw someone get decapitated in the first 2 minutes.
Yeah. That was a nice decap, too. You didn't actually see, like, the decapitation happen, but you saw the very quick aftermath. So...
Yeah, guy's cleaning a window, very annoyingly.
Yep. Apparently he's cleaned that window a lot, and no, it's not a euphemism for anything.
Well, we know why, because the receptionist is just gorgeous, so he's taken his extra long time cleaning that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, she is definitely a full-on 80s babe, for sure.
And he's just like... It's like, I'm pretty sure that he knows it. That she can hear him because she's on the phone and all you hear is that squeegee.
Yeah, oh my god, yeah.
It sounds like he's trying to cut the glass with the fucking thing.
That was, they set that up well because it was supposed to be annoying, like it's annoying to the lady that works in the office, but it was starting to annoy me to the point where, like, this is the opening scene. We're literally seconds into the movie, and it's already annoying me. So, yeah, if that's how they meant what they meant to do, good job, because it worked. Like, I was actually glad that this guy died.
And it's typical late 70s, early 80s filmography where they just do like a mid-range shot and then a quick zoom in on the guy's face as he screams.
Yeah, you see him it zooms in just in time to give him, it's just to hear him scream. Then it cuts to the lady as she screams, and then we just see his decapitated body hanging outside the window. It was a nice effect though. Like it looked pretty cool. Like the body actually looked like a body, because like especially lower budget, early 80s. Sometimes when you see like a decapitated body, you can tell it's just like kind of like a stuffed dummy.
It's like a scarecrow.
Yeah, it doesn't fall. It doesn't hang like a real person's body or anything like that. This one actually looked pretty cool, and like the stump of the neck was good. Actually had blood spurting out of it onto the window. So, the special effects for that part was done well. I'll give them credit for that.
Although, why the monster would take the skull when it's got like the least amount of meat on it?
Yeah, I'm wondering if it was like it just meant to grab the person and just didn't break like it's his restraints.
It fucked up.
But why would this big beast just move along from this and not come back for the rest? I don't know, but
maybe it was craving spam and it just wanted like the fatty brain.
No, there you go. Some what do they call it? Head cheese?
Ugh.
Yeah. Ugh.
Like what the fuck is head cheese? Do they like make it out of the brains, or is this some sort of like interstitial membrane?
I am not sure. I know it's made of the head of the animal, but if it's brain, I'm not sure. All I know is either way, I don't want to eat it. Head cheese sounds like something you get when you don't clean your junk enough. Okay. If you're ready for this is interesting listening.
I need something to get my mind off smegma for a minute.
Head cheese, or brawn, is a cold cut that originated in Europe. A virgin pickled vinegar is known as souse. Head cheese is not a dairy cheese, but a terin of meat jelly, often made from the flesh from the head of a calf or pig. Yeah. There you have it.
it's a jelly made from the head, but like
the actual head, like they actually boil the
skin,
head.
the skull.
Yeah, it sounds like they pretty much just boil the head and then render it, and then like,
so it's like a sluice of bone, leather, and brain matter.
Pretty much, yeah. Whatever boils off the head when they they boil it, and whatever comes off gets made into this like cold cut mixture.
Huh.
Doesn't that just sound lovely?
It sounds like something like when peasants are like that's like a medieval peasant's version of like having a really good day. It's like, all right, kids, you tilled the fields really good. Only 2 of you died of splinters, so we're having head cheese tonight. Yay! Can we do it while staring at the cat? Yeah, you sure can. You were good today. Go nuts.
Well, I mean, they needed they needed something that was easy to eat because they had no teeth. So, all the meat had to be boiled down into a gelatinous substance.
That explains a lot of Irish cooking.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay.
Please tell me something good.
So let's continue with the good. While I don't particularly think the acting was good in any sense in this movie, Quinn, Michael Moriarty's character, at least he was fucking interesting. He was so... How would you describe him? Twitchy? Quirky?
Put down upon?
He was definitely put down upon, but I mean, he was also a jerk. But, he was supposed to be a jerk, but he's kind of smart in a dumb way as well. But, I mean, like, he's just one of these guys that, like, nothing ever seems to work out for him. And he finally thinks that he has his big break. He was annoying as fuck, but, like I said, all the scenes with him in it, at least it was interesting, because, like, he's a type of person that he's interesting to watch in a movie. He wasn't boring or anything like that. But if you knew somebody like him in real life, you'd never be able to spend more than 20 seconds in their company.
Oh, sad sack.
Yeah. And just the way he spoke, like, just... he was probably, like, the highest paced thing about this movie. So... I don't know if that was supposed to be it. Like, they got him to speak and it had a mannerism where he's kind of twitchy and, like really quirky like that. It was like a way to keep the pace moving a little bit. But, yeah, I'll give him, like, I'll say, like, if he was, like, a dull, flat character, this movie would have been even more boring. So, good on him.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear too much of what he was going on because... I was stuck watching it with my family, and so instead of me just using my headphones, as I usually do, we had to watch using the TV, which does not have a center channel. So when everybody's talking, I'm not hearing what the fuck they're saying. All I'm hearing is, like, the New York traffic in the background, someone slamming on the piano keys, background singing, fucking loud, people talking, barely whispers. So fuck my ghetto setup. I mean, I'm used to headphones by myself. I'm used to my solitary hermetic lifestyle.
Subtitles, dude, subtitles.
Yeah, well, I only figured that out later, but even then I was like...
you weren't willing to rewatch.
I was having to put up with my brother-in-law saying, can we put on a good movie like Dusk Till Dawn?
Well,
and I'm just like, hey, we got some kills in the first 7 minutes. We've seen 3 kills, man. What does it take to satisfy you? This movie's got to be good. It's got to be decent. It's got some decent ratings on Shudder, so it's going to get good.
Oh yeah, we watched this on Shudder, and like the viewers on Shudder love this movie apparently.
And he's just like, no, this movie sucks. I can tell in the first 5 minutes, and I'm like, don't be judgy. And
you couldn't tell. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
In the first 5 minutes, I thought this was going to be an awesome movie.
Yeah, he thought it wasn't, and fuck, he was right.
He was right, but I mean, you couldn't tell that.
For the wrong reasons.
I'm calling bullshit on him knowing it in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, he was right for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
It's like we had every reason to think this was going to be a great movie.
People do that all the time. They say, oh, I know what's going to happen, and then it happens, but it's like, and they're like, see, called it. And I'm like, you said it, but it was a total guess. You had no fucking way of knowing that's what was going to happen. So, fuck you.
Yeah, plus we had the kids there, so I'm just like, we're not going to watch Dusk Till Dawn. It takes place in a fucking strip bar. We're not going to watch Quentin Tarantino in a strip club while you have your children here.
Exactly.
I mean, do I have to be a better uncle than you're a better dad? Come on.
I thought the first thing you were going to say for the good list, you saw some nice 80s boobs. Pretty early in the movie.
Yes. That was my next good. It
Well,
says in the first 5 minutes, no skin, and then 2 minutes later, enough skin.
Yep.
Because we get treated to a flayed corpse discovered by the police, and then we even get to see like a little mini flashback of the skin being peeled off with a knife.
Yeah.
Which was
not bad.
Was jarring and cool. And at first I'm just like, oh, wait a second, my 6-year-old nephew's watching this with me. When I saw PG-13, I was expecting like Gremlins or Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah, okay. I gotta mention that because actually I found 2 different ratings on this movie because I saw that PG-13, the first movie poster I saw for it said PG-13. And then when I was watching it, I was like, this can't be PG-13 because, I mean, you're seeing like someone getting flayed. You see somebody getting their heart cut out. You see boobs.
And not just like a lady reclining her boobs. You see her like tanning. So like she's rubbing suntan lotion all over her tits. And I'm like, okay, 1, this is a fucking great scene. But 2, my nephew is like a foot away from me. And I'm hoping he's on his phone.
And yeah, so I'm like, there's no way that this can be PG-13. But so everywhere else I looked it up, it had an R rating. So I don't know if I might have saw... when I saw like a PG-13, if that might have been like from some other country where it was like the movie was censored a little more.
Yeah, man, I trusted you. I was just like, oh, Sheldon says it's PG-13. I don't have time because everyone's on my ass for a movie, so I got to go with this. And it was a fail on my part.
Oh man, your nephew saw some boobs. Yeah, see, on IMDb it says PG-13. On Wikipedia, it says R.
Huh.
So, yeah. But it was definitely an R. I mean, it was a soft R, but it was an R.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's still going to be a good, though. We get someone flayed. We got a flayed body in the first 5 minutes, and then a woman rubbing suntan lotion over her ample bosom with her beautiful pencil eraser nipples. On a New York penthouse roof. Yeah,
but okay. So I'm just gonna lead right into the next thing I have on my good list because I thought this was done really well. I'm glad they went this way. So I mean, right off the bat, there's no suspense to us. We know that there's some flying monsters snatching people, like biting people's heads off.
Yeah, it's on the fucking title in the poster.
Exactly. So she gets grabbed. The hot sunbather gets grabbed. You know, they do another zoom in to someone screaming, and then she just disappears. But what I thought was done really effectively is after she gets grabbed, we just get a view of like the city below, people going about their business, and all of a sudden blood starts raining down on them. I thought that was brilliant. That is something is missing out of like a lot of these types of monster movies. Blood starts dripping down on people, and yeah, I'm like, of course, because that would actually happen.
Yeah, people are walking around like, what the fuck's happening? Looking all around like, I would expect, and they're looking up, and it ties into an immediate good. They can't see anything because the sun is directly overhead, so they're sun blinded.
Yeah, they look up and they can't look exactly, and they actually made a point to cut to that too, to show them like when they look up, they're looking at the sun.
You'd think they'd still be calling the police, though, like, hey, blood is raining from the fucking sky. It's splattered all over my windshield. My shirt is ruined. Can you guys come over here and, like, I don't know, sample or something? Like, do police shit? Something's going on.
Yeah.
Either somebody died or we're in the apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a great play on scenes. Like I said, we got to take a look at the hot sunbather, and then see her get killed, and then see the aftermath immediately afterwards, with like her blood pouring on top of everybody on the street below.
And this was all within the first 10 minutes. This movie is promising to be very good.
Yeah, like I said, the first like 10-15 minutes, I thought this movie was great. Then it gets slow. Too much. It gets two 1980s police action movie. Or not even action movie, police drama.
Yeah, we're not there yet, though.
Yeah.
We're still... We're in the phase where we're, like, teasing the balls and all that. Now we'll break out the clamps and the spanking later.
Hey, I thought we said the movie gets worse, not better.
Another good I had was when the guy robs the jewelry store. It's called Neil Diamonds.
That was good. Yeah.
I was just like, okay, this movie has got to work really hard to disappoint me. And it did, but at this point, I just kept getting more and more optimistic.
I like that scene, too, where the guy like says, like, hey, I'm just a driver. The lead character, Quinn, he's like, I'm just a driver. I don't go inside, and I don't carry a piece. He made that pretty clear when they like hired him for the to do the heist job. Soon as he pulls up, first thing they do is to give him a gun and say, get in there. You try to tell him, like, no, I told you guys, I'm not doing that. They force him out. 3 of them walk in to rob this place. He walks in, and immediately, like, you should see him turn around and walk out. Like, leaves the other 2 guys behind. Just like, he just walks away. Just like, no, I ain't doing it. Nope.
You know, I'm not betraying you. You are trying to force me to betray myself, and I'm not.
Yeah. But he did walk out carrying a bag full of diamonds. So, and that's going to lead to something I got, next thing I got on my good list, is, so he ends up losing the diamonds because he gets hit by a cab. The bag of diamonds goes into the streets. We don't see what happened. We're just assuming somebody grabbed it.
You think he'd go after it, like that would be his priority.
Yeah. Like, he's like too messed up. He's kind of like distraught. He takes a quick look around, but then he kind of just like, oh, well, they're gone. So
I did get hit by a cab.
Yeah. He's like me, but like, you know, that's the type of deal. Like, if I was like, you know, minor inconvenience and I'm just like, oh, fuck it, I don't even care anymore. I'll just lay down and die.
Yeah, I shouldn't have had those diamonds in the first place. I'm just gonna fucking get out of here before I get hit by another cab.
Exactly. But I like this now. Now his like the people that did the heist with him, they figure he just like booked off with the diamonds. He's gonna keep them for himself. They show up his place, and at this point, he already knows about the monster. He discovered the monster at the top of the Chrysler Building.
He was looking for a place to hide, and he thought, if I'm going to need a place to gather my thoughts for a minute, I'm going to climb all the way to the top dome of the fucking Chrysler Building, just so I can catch my breath and, you know, recover from my busted hip.
Yeah.
That's the place I'm going to lick my wounds and stash my diamonds. The fucking Chrysler Building.
You remind me of a cat. It's like a cat gets sick or injured and they just want to stay as far away from people as possible. So he gets to the top of the Chrysler Building. That's where he discovers the monster's lair. Well, first he discovers the what's left of the hot sunbather. She's just a skeleton, so I'm assuming that Q ate her and that's what got pooped out or whatever.
No, he's somehow, for such a large beast, he was meticulous in stripping that body clean.
Yeah.
You think there'd be chunks pecked out of it? But no, they didn't realize, like, we're not gonna go with how a bird would eat it.
Yeah, it was just basically a stripped down skeleton. And that's when he discovers Q. He discovers a nest. There's an egg there. He sees the monster, so he knows the monster's there. He just gets the fuck out of there. Of course you would. Doesn't report it or anything. Keeps it to himself. So when the two people that he did the heist with come, you know, grab him, they want to know where the diamonds are, and he tries to tell them they lost them. They don't believe it. He's just keeping it for himself. He's quick, man. Like, for such an idiot, he comes up with a plan really fast. He tells them that, yeah, okay, I stashed them at the top of the Chrysler Building. They go there to the top of the building, to the top of the dome, and he says, yeah, they're just right up there. And for some reason, those two leave him there and climb up.
One by one.
One by one, yeah.
He keeps one guy busy though, so he doesn't hear the screaming. He knows that there's going to be screaming, so he ends up like, "Hey, look at that view out there! Isn't that view just like one of the most amazing things you ever seen? Boy, you can feel like a real champion when you hear the sound of the traffic." Like he's just doing everything he can to drown out the sound of the other guy going like, "Move, fucking help me!"
So he ends up leading both of them to the top where the creature's nest is, and they both get eaten. And he's cheering on Q as they're getting eaten. They're screaming. He's like, "Yeah, eat them, crunch, crunch, crunch."
It's his new buddy. It's his pet monster. I would have loved the rest of the movie if he was riding on its back like fucking Falcor from the Neverending Story. Just taking on the mob and even eating some cops. And he's just like, "Turn around, listen what you see."
He just becomes a crime fighter. He goes like flying around in this fucking dragon thing, eating criminals,
knocking the police into trash cans as they hide in dumpsters in fright. And he's just like, "Yeah, you're my best pal in the whole world."
Oh my god, and they both could be called Q.
Exactly. The Q Squad.
Q squared.
Q and Q.
Oh, there we go, man. We got a sequel.
We just made this movie better. So much better.
Holy shit. Oh my god. Okay, you got anything else for the good? Because let's face it, that's as good as it's gonna get.
Yeah, the scary nest scene. Like when he stumbles upon the pile of bones, which was fucking great.
Yep.
The construction worker who's asking what happened to his lunch, and everyone's just like, "The fuck you looking at me for? Just because I'm the Italian guy? You think I'm a fucking mobster? You think I stole your shit?" And then he's just like, "Man, my wife's gonna be pissed I didn't get to make... my wife made this. I wanted this." And then we see a guy eating the sandwich going, "Man, that guy's wife makes a great tuna sandwich. I should stop by and thank her."
The poor guy gets his lunch stolen and then gets eaten.
He becomes lunch.
And we get some more blood and gore raining down on the people below. Now, is this where they actually... Is this the first time that the people below in the street actually see the monster?
Didn't a few of the construction workers see him get picked off? Because he wasn't on the very top. Like, I thought he was like on the lower level. So
because there was two. Yeah, I don't know if it's him or another guy, because there's another construction worker that gets killed too, and
some guy in the rafters.
It was one of the greatest scenes because we are walking with a wheelbarrow, and this is the first time that we actually get a glimpse of like the entire monster. It's just like a flyby shot, but we actually get it. And the monster doesn't, like, just grab the guy. He's walking along, and I call this guy Super Mario because he's wearing a red shirt and blue coveralls.
Game over.
But you see the monster fly by, and then the guy just kind of does, like, a somersault in the air. And I'm assuming that the monster, like knocked him down and then grabbed him, because... he gets eaten, but like that's all we see of him. It's like we see the shot of the monster pass by quickly and then see him fly through the air. Ah!
This was becoming like a good slapstick, like Jason and the Argonauts stop motion shit. This was, like I said, all this good is in the first half hour.
Yeah, and I'll give them props too. I'll say it's good, even though it's some not the far from the best I've seen, but anybody that goes through the trouble of doing a stop-motion monster for any movie, I'll give them props for it. I'm a sucker for stop-motion animation, so, you know, whether it was great or not, I'll give them a thumbs up. Okay, so you got anything else for the good?
Shaft. The bad mother. Shut your mouth.
He sure is.
What? I'm just talking about Shaft. In this movie.
Yeah.
Sadly, a little underused, but good when he showed up, and man, did he have a fucking death.
Oh, he did. The monster didn't even bother to eat him.
No, the monster's just like, "Oh man, I ain't gonna eat Shaft, I'm gonna let him go." And then he does, at 10,000 feet.
You should have had him say, "Let me go, you motherfucker."
Oh yeah, and then like Quinn, yeah, like I have my note here, like Quinn being a good feeder, and again Quinn when he is the white guy and he keeps singling out Shaft as like the black cop who was mistreating and framing him. I just fucking love that irony. You know, like that it's the black cops that are keeping us down in this city.
Yeah.
And
Man, it's like these these black police officers just keeping these like small time white crooks like me down.
Yeah, they're the worst cops of all. They're worse than the whites.
Jesus Christ.
Wow, you can actually say that with a straight face. And my last good. Oh,
it was the 80s, man. You could say whatever the fuck you want with a straight face.
Oh, my last good. Oh, man. I can't believe they threw this in the movie. The Undercover Mime.
Yes! It's like, really?
I'm just surprised that when he called in the bird report to the station that he wasn't making hand gestures over the phone.
Oh my god. I'm like, this is like police squad shit now, man. Come on.
This is Police Academy. Come on.
He was undercover as a mime, and then when they said, like, okay, like, you know, we got a location, whatever, like that, we're heading here, we got a location on the guy that's doing the ritual, doing the killings, so we gotta go. And as he's running in, he grabs his hat, and when a cop says to him, how'd you do? Not too great. He's, like, looking at the coins in his hat. And he seemed really disappointed, like, it wasn't just, like... he's like, looking at, not too great.
As if he thinks he's there to actually do some fundraising for the police, rather than gather reconnaissance of, like, trying to listen to, like, surreptitious conversations. He probably thinks he has to finance, like, the policeman's ball bake sale or something.
Oh my god. And it is just beautiful, and he has to go to their friggin',
he gets called in for the assault.
They actually raid the place.
He doesn't even change.
No.
He's still walking around with a shotgun. It's like, oh, like, mime with a shotgun. That would be a great movie. You'd never hear him coming.
Oh my god.
Fuck, we got two great movies out of this.
There you go.
We got Q Squared and Undercover Mime with a shotgun.
Except it had to be a different one, because he was one of the cops that got killed near the climax, too.
He did get killed?
Yeah, he was one of the ones that Q threw out the building.
Oh, man. You think he would have taken shelter in his invisible box? Can you... Oh, man, that would have been fucking great. If he just, like, holds his hands up, and then, like, the bird's claw bounces off of it. And he's just like, the power was in me all along.
Oh, wow. We're going to start writing down some of these ideas.
Oh, man, if we ever hit, like, a super Patreon goal where we can, like, hang out on a semi-regular basis, we should do, like, YouTube videos of...
Oh, my God. Okay, here's an idea for a movie. A horror movie called Mime, and the mime actually has psychic powers where whatever he's doing, it's invisible. Like, whatever he's trying to make, it's invisible, but it's still effective. Like, he wants to crash a car, he stands in front and, like, does, like, the box thing. But a car crashes into it and, like, people die. Or he strangles somebody with, like, an invisible rope.
He just gets behind them, makes a fist, lowers the fist over their head and pulls back, and then you see, like, their neck compress, and they're like...
Write that the fuck down, man. I'm telling you. Sounds terrible, but let's not forget that somebody once pitched an idea about sharks in a tornado, and it got 7 sequels.
Oh, man. I think that's about as good as we're going to get. I think it's all downhill from here.
All right, so since you start off with the good, I'll start off with the bad. Did nobody seem too surprised or, like, you know, taken aback by the fact that there's a giant serpent flying around the city eating people? Did he seem to take the news a little too well and not be too... What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, and that whole... Oh, it was flying under the sun so you couldn't see it? That only works for people that it would be swooping down on because it's directly above them. Otherwise, you know, space exists in 3 dimensions and long, wide areas.
Yeah.
So while you're swooping down on someone who was sun-blinded, somebody, say, just 2 streets away, could see the whole thing in perfect unobscured view and just see,
Yes.
wow, a fucking winged beast
There's
swooped down, grabbed him, and picked him up.
Yes, there's animals that will do that. Like some birds of prey actually do that. They use the sun to like help like conceal themselves from the animal they're tracking below. That only works directly for the animal that they're tracking below. Not for another animal that's like looking like that's all the way across a field looking at a diagonal at them.
It's like the same reason that, like, up until the 80s, the computers couldn't plan airplane travel lanes, simply because the computer just couldn't accept 3-dimensional space where plane trajectories can overlap because they're above each other.
Yeah. So, yeah, like that's on my bad list as well. It leads into that. It's just basically there's this huge thing that like fucking gigantic. Like this thing is massive, and nobody in New York City has seen it flying around at some point. Nobody like looked up at the Chrysler Building and saw this giant winged serpent on the side and said, "Well, what the fuck is that?"
Yeah, isn't it like a massive attraction? So tourists would always be looking up at it, taking pictures, and like, this was the 80s, so that there'd be some Japanese tourists going like, "Oh, no matara!"
Oh, fuck. So, yeah, and it's supposed to be like some kind of, like, I mean, the thing was brought back by magic. Couldn't they have some kind of magic that it can, like, be invisible until it, like, attacks somebody?
Yeah, if you're going to be like a mythical beast, you should get some fucking magic powers like fireballs and an invisibility cloak, bulletproof skin. Like, if you're going to be magic, be fucking magic. Otherwise, you're just a creature. You're just like a flesh and blood mortal creature. Like, an actual Bigfoot is only scary when it's just you and him in the woods. If Bigfoot came to the city, the police would drop that fucker in about 2 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Bigfoot hits the city, he steps in on the street and gets hit by a car, and he's down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, like, yeah, there you go. So, first of all, yeah, like to my point, yeah, like, the police really didn't seem that concerned that, like, there's a giant monster around. Like, nobody was like, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? No, it's just like, there's a big giant flying fucking dinosaur or whatever, pterodactyl as far as we know, eating people. That was resurrected by magic, and, okay, let's get some guns and shoot it down. So, okay. And, exactly, like, nobody saw this beast flying around. Like, no one. Like, that's what we're supposed to believe. Like, this thing is good at, like, concealing itself because it only attacks its victims while they're sun-blinded. Okay, yeah. What about everybody else? No one else saw this thing. Okay, and so this is what I got next on my bad list.
Don't I ever get a bad?
Oh, well, that was kind of yours, wasn't it?
No, you started. You always start with the bad.
Yeah, but then you said about nobody seeing the thing.
Oh, that wasn't yours?
Yeah. Okay, never mind. You go.
Okay,
my thing was, okay, let's keep score. My thing was nobody was very upset about, like, discovering that there's a giant monster flying around terrorizing the city.
Oh, and I played off that with the sun obscuring. Okay.
All right, so you go.
Okay. When Quinn... The first time I realized that I was in trouble was when Quinn does that Spider-Man 3 bebopping in the bar.
Wow, yeah.
I was just like, oh, is it going to fade away? Oh, no, we're listening to him do the whole fucking song, which, again, I cannot hear because I do not have a center channel on my TV, and I didn't have my headphones because I wanted to share the same experience with everyone. So fuck me for trying to be empathetic and be part of the crowd rather than saying fuck them and listening. Like, I put on my headphones eventually when they lost interest, but I was trying to be communal. So I had no idea what the hell he was saying or what he sounded like. But all I know is that I was just hearing those piano keys really loud.
Well, I got to hear the whole thing, and all I can say is lucky you, because motherfucker. Holy shit.
I only saw how long it took. You got to experience the whole thing. Tell me, what was it like? Tell me what was the subject matter, and what were some of his more memorable notes?
I don't even know. I think I blocked the fucking thing out.
You repressed it.
There was a lot of scatting going on. Let's put it that way.
Oh.
So yeah, like I said, lucky you, because that was the fucking pits. Like, he's auditioning for a job as the piano musician, like a piano player at a club.
I thought it would be great because Carradine tells him later on, like, sincerely, man, you were great.
He's one of those guys that, like, when he's playing, like, I mean, he's obviously got some skill. Like, he doesn't just, like, it wouldn't be like me sitting down to a piano and just, like, blindly, like, thumping on keys. He's obviously got some skill.
So he was able to lay a good music bed.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's somebody that, like, could actually play the piano. But, yeah, it's... You know what? Why am I even trying to explain it?
Oh, are you saying you found it?
Yeah, I will. You know this piano couldn't be heard.
I think I might have found it, Mike.
Oh, shit.
Go away, evil dream. Leave my baby alone. Go away, evil dream. Go away now.
Oh. Oh, just play the piano, don't
She
sing.
wakes up crying every night.
Oh god, I miss Tobey Maguire snapping his finger guns.
Did you find that guy's head yet? Oh, it'll turn up.
I miss Tobey Maguire.
So I got to
You
listen to
gave
the
me
whole thing.
fever.
This scene goes on for nearly 7 minutes. It finally ends with the bartender going over and he doesn't even tell the guy to stop playing. He just goes over, turns on the jukebox. So
That's a most definite bad.
Thankfully, you didn't get to listen to that whole thing. So
Yeah, I was too busy trying to balance the audio, so I was out of the experience. Sounds like I came out on top on that one.
you definitely did, man. All right, what else you got for the bad?
But isn't it your turn now?
Oh, okay. Boy. While Michael Moriarty's Quinn character, like I said, it was an interesting character. He was probably the highlight of the acting, and Jesus Christ, the rest of the acting in this was fucking the pits. Oh my god, the acting in this movie is brutal. Nobody has like a sense of urgency about him. Nobody seems too horrified by what's going on. Nobody's believable. Like, I could not get into any of these characters. There's not like a memorable character in this entire thing. Other than Quinn. Like I said, and he's memorable for, just because of how quirky he is. Not because of good acting, just because the character is a fucking, like, spaz.
Yeah, none of the cops seem to be doing their job well. Like, body parts in the street, blood raining from the sky, and nobody's in a rush to solve anything. Just, hey, you know what? We saw some flayed dude in an apartment. Let's focus on that.
Yeah.
Well, what about the reports of a giant bird? Well, later. We'll put a pin in that.
Exactly.
I got to go to the bar and listen to this asshole pound keys for 7 minutes. One of my bads was this just two scripts that got shuffled together? Like, I'm imagining some guy had a monster movie, some other guy had an urban crime drama. They were both late for a meeting. They both crossed paths in an intersecting hallway, turning the corner, bumping into each other, spilling notes everywhere, shuffling them back together until the stack seemed, roughly the same size, and then just heading back to their respective meetings.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So what about you?
Well, I had to make a note of this because I found this funny because there is quite a difference, even though not a lot of time has passed. This is 1982, so they're well into the 80s. It's still the early 80s, but anytime you saw some stock footage of a crowd running scared and everything, it was so obviously taken from stock footage from something from the 70s. Holy shit, everybody was just, it was just bell bottoms galore. And so, yeah, they didn't even bother, to get some new footage of just crowds running. It was we got this stock footage, so let's just use that. Something very minor, I know, but still, holy shit. Alright, anything else for the bad?
Yep. I thought once people were screaming and running around in the streets that the movie would be about the fucking police fighting the bird and the bird killing cops. Eventually they bring in the military and it turns out this creature's magically protected and they have to bring in some sort of shaman to neutralize it. I was expecting this to be about the fucking bird. People are screaming in the streets. Blood is literally in the fucking streets.
Yep.
This should be about the bird. It's not. The bird is just this side pet. It's what if Little Shop of Horrors wasn't about Audrey 2? He's still in it, but it's not about him per se.
Yeah, you're right. Basically it ties in with my next thing is that, the fucking monster is not utilized. It's not enough of the monster. Just for a monster movie, there's a big lack of monster. And also, I got here this is a minor thing, but they refer to the monster several times as the plumed flying serpent. The feathered flying serpent. Did you see any feathers at any time on the monster?
Well, it had wings, but not on the bird, not on the creature itself. I'm thinking about where's the fucking serpent? Because it's a bird.
Oh, it's always a bird. I mean,
it's got a bird's head, a bird's neck, a bird's eyes, a bird's beak, a bird's wings.
Just no feathers.
Well, didn't it the wing? It didn't. I thought it had feathers on the wings, but it wasn't plumed on the body. No.
Did it have feathers on the wings?
Well, it didn't have leathery flappy wings, did it? It looked like feathery wings.
Oh, I thought it had leathery ones. Was I paying that little attention at that point? I'm just gonna look up a picture because. But yeah, I just want to note I made. So why did they keep calling it a plumed serpent? Because I don't see any. No, it's leathery. It's all leathery wings.
Huh.
So. Fuck their description. They didn't even get the monster right. I'm wondering if this was something did they probably do all those parts, record all those scenes, with just interacting with the humans in the description, and the monster was added in afterwards?
Oh yeah, I'm fairly certain there is little to no interaction with a large apparatus. Or a multi-teamed or a multi-person piloted puppet.
Yeah.
It looks like it's all green screened.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's a situation like the Giant Claw, I told you about that old movie, The Giant Claw, where the actors had no idea, they went to the premiere and had no idea what the monster from the movie was actually going to look like. And so, I mean, it's not to that situation, because I actually think the monster looked good. I mean, I liked the look of the monster in this. But the Giant Claw, the monster looks so ridiculous. The guy that played the lead character, he was so embarrassed when he saw the monster, he actually left the premiere and went to a bar and got drunk.
Yeah, the bird looked fine. I just think they mishandled everything about it. Like, we need more of the bird. Mm-hmm. Like, that stop motion animation may have gotten expensive, but again, when it's called Q the Winged Serpent, we need to see, one, this bird looked like a fucking actual serpent, because it looked like a bird.
Yeah.
And if it's supposed to be like some magical bird, you know, we should need excessive military force, not a police squad who just like taps into their regular armory, and that's enough to eventually take this thing down. No. It should be more impressive, and we got this guy who's still conducting ritual killings. The bird is already in the city.
Yes,
what the fuck is he summoning anymore?
The bird is resurrected by like this Aztec priest who has to make all these different types of human sacrifices to resurrect the bird. The bird is already alive and killing people and feeding and breeding.
Yeah, who's fucking it to make the egg?
Well, that's another thing. I made a note here as well. I don't think that the producers of the movie know how biology works.
Yeah, there has to be a mate.
It has to be a mate. It can lay all the eggs at once. It's not going to hatch into, it's like, you know, unfertilized eggs like with chickens, right? Like birds can lay all the eggs they want. If they're not fertilized, nothing's going to happen.
Do you think like the every ritual sacrifice creates an egg?
Oh, possibly. Oh, that's a good angle, Mike. Maybe that's it.
I think this is the third good movie we're making. Because, like, again, why does this creature need to be resurrected? If it's laying eggs, then, you know, the eggs will just hatch. Yeah. It's not like a sacrifice creates a lightning storm and then the creature is birthed from a lightning storm. Which, again, make this creature magical as fuck. I want to see some Jason and the Argonauts, like Excalibur shit. Yeah. If this is an apocalyptic beast brought on by dark forces and blood sacrifice, make me see it.
Exactly.
Like, the poster showed red skies. It looked like there was like some end of days shit. Like even the world is getting ready for the end.
The poster for this movie, the main poster, when I search it keeps coming up, looks like something out of like some of the best like 1980s metal album covers.
Like Warlock, Ghostbusters. Like some actual 80s apocalyptic shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see blood red skies. I wanted to see wizards. I wanted to see, like, Aztecs in the modern age. Like, just grabbing people off the street and just strengthening this creature. Like, every time they sacrifice something, the creature gets either bigger or it gets gold. Like, it gets empowered by the blood. Like, show me something. Show me that these sacrifices are fueling it. Like, I want to see a conspiracy. I want to see an organization. I want to see this monster in action. But no, it's just like a regular beast, which could be explained like, yeah, it just flew into the city.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, there's a beast. All right.
And then the movie ends with the guy behind it all. A guy that we've never seen throughout this entire movie. He ends up finding Quinn. How? And like when they kill him, like the cop kills him and oh boy.
Oh my god.
What kind of fucking kill is this? This guy, they just decided this is the 80s, so we have to have all of a sudden the killer becomes an immortal slasher.
Yep. Keeps popping up after being shot several times.
And then finally finally the cop like empties his barrel, drops the guy. And then when that guy dies, we see another egg that's been stashed start to crack open. And I'm like, oh my god, this is where the Matthew Broderick Godzilla got their ending.
Yep. Exactly. That ending that's not an ending. Fuckery.
So when the movie has good stuff going on, it is great. but it is so few and far between. I can't recommend it simply because there's just too much filler.
Yeah. Exactly. More monster, less cop drama. And less domestic disputes with Quinn and his girlfriend.
Yeah, Quinn's got a temper. He's an asshole.
Oh, he certainly is. Yeah, the only thing I got less on my bad list is that while the stop motion animation for the monster, I liked it, did good with a low budget. Whenever, towards the end, when several police officers, which the other cops didn't seem to give a fuck about, that like several of their colleagues got brutally murdered by being thrown off a building. Literally, it looked like somebody made like a little figure, like a little man out of modeling clay and just threw it across the room.
Oh, it's like they just took a still image of a guy and panned the camera away. And then they superimposed it so the body looks like it's moving. There's like, yeah, it looks like someone just threw a G.I. Joe off a roof.
Yep. Not even that articulated. Like, it looked, I paused it and replayed it several times. It was just like someone literally just made like a little cop figure out of modeling clay. So that they could make the arms and legs move the tiniest little bit. And then just tossed it. So yeah. They really like must have ran out of time. Like somebody's kids, one of the producers' kids made the figures that that dropped out of the windows.
Yeah, and then Shaft gets his Mace Windu ending.
Exactly. All right. Well, I've got nothing else to talk about for the movie. How about you? Anything else for the bad list?
No, just it has like a weird ending. Quinn loses his deal. Like, the city fucked him. Like, he did lead them to the spot with the bird. The bird wasn't there when he said it was, but it did show up at that exact same spot. They fuck him on the deal anyway. He's got nothing, but he still thinks, you know what? Forget the life of crime. Forget the abusive girlfriend that I've been abusing. I'm just going to go back to that bar and be a piano player.
Yeah.
Because it's something that a black guy taught me. And he even, like, uses some racist shit. He's like the one good black guy, and I'm using the term black guy because he used something else.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, he taught me something in the joint how to play the piano. And I'm like, wow, this guy is like this guy's an asshole.
Oh, this guy is
he's a racist, douchebag. Abusive shithead.
So total douchebag, absolutely.
And yet he's the hero of the story because David Carradine is an even worse cop.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm all done with my bads. I'm exhausted with this movie.
All right, well, Mike, I guess there's nothing left to do than a little segment that you usually bring to the table. At least this time, you've actually got some choice. So let's hear it.
We got some selection on this week's Kill of the Week. And that has to go to the naked lady rubbing her boobs on the roof.
Yeah.
Everything else was just terrible camera work, weird stop motion kills, like especially with the cops getting thrown off the roof and like lousy G.I. Joes being chucked. No. But the lady on the roof just rubbing her boobs, like that was enough for me. It's just like, you got my attention, and just a quick swoop and she's gone. It's quick, it's clean, it's dirty just the way I like. And yeah, it's like the only boobs in the movie, and they were fine. So, yeah, nothing else in this movie was that spectacular, so that's my kill.
Awesome. I was stuck between that one or the doofus that's on the rooftop with, like, three beautiful, scantily clad women, and he looks bored as fuck and decides to go for a swim.
Because one just wants to do push-ups. She's not even, like, if she was doing jumping jacks, at least that would be something for him to watch. I'm with him. She's just like, let's hang out on your roof, and I'll show you how many push-ups I can do.
Yeah, you were with him, and look what happened to him, okay? He gets eaten.
Well, it's not like she was doing anything where she got eaten, so I can understand his boredom.
Get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ, my cat just attacked me.
Well, you were talking about a bird, and you got him riled up.
Okay, well, guys, that is our coverage of Q, the Winged Serpent. Have you seen this movie before? If you have, what do you think of it? You agree with what we had to say? Disagree? Did we miss something important that you thought we should have mentioned? Do you have another movie you want us to talk about in a future episode? Jesus Christ, I've forgotten how to talk. Anyway, whatever the case is, we want to hear from you, and you've got several ways to get in contact with us. You can do it the old-fashioned way by sending us an email at graveyardshiftpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at GYS_horrorpod. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. Or you can, of course, check us out on Instagram, instagram.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. If you're feeling particularly generous, it's the holiday's been over for a while now, maybe you've got some money coming back into your bank account that you want to put towards a good cause, you can head over to www.patreon.com/graveyard. There, for a donation of as little as $1 a month, you can help us out greatly with the show. Give yourself the option for some great Graveyard Shift giveaways. Once we reach a certain tier, we're going to start doing some fun little giveaways with some Graveyard Shift merchandise. So looking forward to that. Plus, you get access to some Graveyard Shift exclusive Patreon-only bonus episodes. Every once in a while, we throw up a new episode on Patreon. We were doing it once a month for a while. We kind of backed off a little bit, but they're going to be coming out fast and furious again pretty soon, so hopefully we'll get back on that once a month schedule. These episodes are different than our regular feed. We still do some movie coverage, but usually when we do, we give a full synopsis of a movie, not just our good and bad. Plus, we do TV shows, video games, as long as it's horror related. Whatever the case is, top 10s list, we do all kinds of fun stuff, so check that out. But of course, we understand that not everybody has the money to give us money, but you can still help us out a ton by going on to iTunes, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, rate, review, subscribe. In the long run, that's actually what helps us out the most. And if you follow us on social media, then you can rate reviews those pages and share them with your friends. And of course, sharing by word of mouth also helps a lot too. If you know anyone that would like to listen to us two guys talk about horror movies, then let them know about us. So Mike, other than the Graveyard Shift, what else you got going on?
Well, we have the Tech Chatter podcast, the revised, rebirthed Technobabble podcast, where me and Rich talk about technology, devices, gadgets. We're currently going through several categories of the CES show from 2019. All those gadgets and gizmos.
Cool.
And I'm also bringing back Playing with Power. We've resumed the updates. They're probably not going to be as consistent due to my co-host schedule, but we're going to try to keep some regularity since now I have a new co-host and not like an American who has decided I need to spend more time with my family and have no work ethic anymore. So that might work. And we'll also be bringing back the taste test. And that seems to be it for now. And the Radio Haver, or Radio Haver, is going to be, is still, okay, 3, 2, 1. And we're also on Radio Haver, or Radio Haver, and they're on an app. Just a sec, what is that app that they're on? I think we posted it on our page.
Yeah, we have links to it on our page, so if you follow us on social media, you'll see lots of postings there. We're actually pretty close to our premiere on the Radio Haver internet radio station, and I'm very excited about it. I can't wait. It's going to be happening this Saturday. By the time you hear this, it's already happened. So, we're talking to you from the past.
Yeah, we'll be there on the Saturday Horror Night lineup, which will be 11 p.m. their time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our end, so adjust your listening accordingly, and you can find it on the Simple Radio app, which is available on iTunes or any Android app store. So check out the rest of their shows, as well as hearing some of ours.
Yeah, you're a fan of us, check out the other shows. Plus, check out the Radio Haver website anyway, because they cover a lot of, they give a lot of exposure to some local musical talent, not just podcasts like us. So check that out, some great stuff there. But
They're
check
getting
out the shows.
They're getting attention for a podcast called Fife Club, which I'm guessing is about flutes.
I hope so, because there's not enough of those. Okay, and yeah, check it out, and check out some other horror shows. Like, if you're a horror fan, you like listening to us, then check out some shows. I'm sure there's going to be some great ones. I cannot wait to listen. Just if you like them, don't stop listening to us, and listen to them instead, because Mike will send a monster after you. All right, guys, that is it for our show this week. Mike, thank you again so much for being an awesome co-host.
And thank you as well. What?
What? No, nothing? But yeah, guys, we're going to be back again with another horror movie to give a good old-fashioned beatdown next week. And however way you check us out, whether it's on a regular feed or you're checking us out on the new Radio Haver, then whatever is good with us. Just make sure you join us again next week for another episode of The Graveyard Shift. Released on October 29th, 1982, Q is an American horror movie starring two-time Golden Globe winner Michael Moriarty and erotic yeah, let's try that again. The joke doesn't work unless I do that. Say that right. Let me take some water. My throat.
What's the matter? Did you choke during the erotic asphyxiation joke?
I did choke during the erotic asphyxiation joke.